Good day, sir. We have here Mr. Ritesh Gupta from IPM, Ittihad paper mill from Abu Dhabi, one of the most wanted and leading paper mill in UAE, maybe. You can say it as, Middle East.
Right, so we are actually the first paper mill in the region, currently the only ones. Our production capacity is 350,000 tons per annum. We are selling to 67 countries globally. So if you're looking at regions, we are covering North America, we are covering North Africa, we are covering Europe, both East and West Europe, Sub-Saharan Africa, the entire GCC region, and of course the entire Middle East. So whether it's Jordan, whether it's Iraq, whether it's UAE, Jordan, Oman. So these are the markets that we're dealing in. Primary markets within the region are here. We're also selling into Australia, sometimes into the Far East, and obviously Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka as well as key markets for us currently.
Could you tell me more about your products?
So we are manufacturing uncoated wood-free paper. The formats that the paper is available in is A4, which is cut size. We can do folio sheets, we can do reels as well, right? Our GSM range is 42 GSM, that's the lowest, and the highest that we do is 140 GSM. So that's the product range that we have. We can make copy paper grades, offset grades, we can make envelope grades of paper, we have pre-print grades of paper. So basically anything to do with, say, offset printing, digital printing, laser printing, even for the manufacturing of envelopes or base papers or various other paper applications is what we're doing.
So how is the pulp and paper market in Gulf region? Do you agree it is growing rapidly?
Yes, it is a growing market. So, there's a misconception that paper consumption is going down globally. Yes, it is a reality, but there are applications of paper that are also coming through. So people are innovating these days. When we talk about paper, if you're not from the industry, the first thought that comes for paper is notebooks, diaries, textbooks for children, probably A4 paper that you're printing, So yes, those things are there. Those are realities that we have to live with. But it's got nothing to do with people wanting to use less paper. In fact, what has happened is the size and the GSM of paper has changed. So there are certain applications in which you still need printing. If you're looking at e-commerce, you still need to have a receipt to go with it. You still need to have labels that need to be printed. And for that application, the final application is a paper-based solution. But then you do need to use paper. Whether you are able to produce that form of paper to be used in that application is where most of the companies are trying to innovate. We, for example, are one of those companies that are coming up with products to be used in those applications. And we are continuously, upgrading ourselves, keeping in touch with what the market requirement is, and coming up with these products that can go into specific applications, not just standard catalog printing or standard notebook printing or, that's the old school stuff, yes. So there is a push towards digitization. Today your trends in marketing and sales or marketing promotions is to have a customized product for a customer, right? So digitization helps in that, but what reinforces that is print. So you wouldn't see catalogs being printed by, say, in the local market, like say by Carrefour or Lulu. What they do is during specific seasons they print a very short catalog to promote certain brands or certain effects. That's where the printing aspect comes in, and those are shorter runs which are done on digital machines. So from offset printing, it is coming over here towards digital side. Yes, consumption is coming down, but then if you look at how and where the applications of paper are coming through, that is sort of going in that sense.
So do you mean to say that Gulf market is potential for paper and its allied business?
Yes, it's a very big market. You look at the populations coming up, or the population set up. In UAE, it's close to about 10 million people. You look at Saudi Arabia, it's about 55 million. You've got other countries in the region. Now, what's happening is there's a huge push towards industrial growth outside of oil and gas, where the government is giving out incentives for growth, not only here, but in the region itself. So what we are anticipating is, previously there was a push towards the east, but then because of supply chain related issues, the push is coming more towards the Middle East. So not necessarily all the people want to go to Far East to get cheaper product. It's also about how quickly can you supply it. And we being in paper in the region, we are working very closely with a lot of converters, with a lot of printers, and helping them take their product international. So whether it's we are playing a very important role in that sense towards educating the industry over here as to what global standards are, what global certifications are needed for retail. For example, we have the FSC certificate here. Not many converters here had FSC certifications on their product. So we have worked with them to ensure that they get an FSC certificate, they get all the baseline certifications needed to go out and sell the paper in developed markets. So that's the push that's coming into the region now. So you are going to see a lot of investments coming up from people who would take up global jobs based out of UAE, based out of Abu Dhabi, even Dubai for that matter, and they will take the product global rather than importing and being a consumer of paper or paper products. Very shortly you will start seeing exports of paper also coming in, paper products from UAE. It's already started. We're working with a couple of guys within the region who are exporting into Western Europe and North America. So those are positive developments, and so maybe I think 8 to 12 months down the road, we would also see a lot of offset people playing an important role in printing novels or printing textbooks for students in North Africa or those markets.
So what is your idea about sustainability and how to make the paper a more sustainable product?
You see, our philosophy is that paper is probably the only sustainable resource that's available with us today. Yes, a lot of wood-based fiber is consumed in the manufacturing of paper, but then you don't, because it's so important to the industry, there's no point of everyone coming up and saying that it's causing deforestation. In fact, for us, we are very responsible in that sense. All our pulp that we are buying and consuming at IPM is coming from responsible sources. If the customer for IPM needs an FSC certificate, we are able to provide that. And FSC as such is the gold standard in having sustainable pulp supplies. So that's one aspect of sourcing that we're doing. The other part is with regards to energy and water consumption. So we are, because it's a very new setup, we have the best in class machines, the best in class infrastructure. So the water consumption and energy consumption as well per ton of paper that we're producing is amongst one of the best that's there in the world. So it is a push, and this is going to get even more stronger. So we are geared up towards it, and we are pushing towards even more sustainable practices.
So finally, how is the PaperOne show this year, and how is the response?
It's been a very good show. Honestly, it's been a very good show for us. We are very regular at the show, whether for the events that they hold in the UAE or whether they have offshore events, like say the last couple of sessions they've had in Turkey as well, one in Bodrum and one in Izmir. So we've been participating in those shows as well, those road shows in those countries. And if there's anything else that comes up, we would be participating there.
How about in India?
In India, we would like to participate in the PaperX, but currently India is not a very big market for us. It's owing to all the duty structures that are in place. However, it's a very big consumer of paper. The misconception for India, people say it's very price sensitive. I think it's very value sensitive, right? There is domestic production available, but if you have a product which is of good quality, there are certain gaps in the market which we want to fulfill. It's just that there are certain duty structures that we're working with to ensure that we are able to overcome that.
Thanks so much for your valuable
Thank you, ma'am.
answer.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
It was a pleasure for us too. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye-bye.